Basically, it's as brutally honest. Like, if you're sitting backstage and you want 50 G's, going out and put on a performance, and you'll get it. That's all he wants to do is like, listen, you put on a performance, because for him as a business sense, he'll make money because people will use your knockout or your submission as like a reels, and then it'll just, so get paid what you're worth. And you see it in loads of different sports where people are like, well, I'm not getting paid enough. What would you be doing if you were only doing this sport? Because if you could get paid more doing another sport, why didn't you do it? If you know you can get paid more as a boxer, then go be a boxer. If you know you can get paid more being a like fucking tiddlywinks player, go and do that. Don't come here and be like, oh, I'm not getting paid enough. Well, what were you doing before this? When you were training and doing MMA, what were you doing before this? Because I guarantee it would be better than what you were getting paid.
And also, how much are you doing to say that you should be getting paid more? Are you just kind of just being a bit boring and just kind of just turning up for a fight, or are you going the extra mile to sell yourself?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I don't do a lot of media stuff. Like, I don't do a lot of interviews leading out a fight week, because I used to do it. What I used to do was like, if somebody asked me for an interview, it didn't matter if they had 100 followers or if they had 2 followers, I would do an interview. And then the way I looked at it is they were stealing time from me. And it sounds nasty that these people are stealing time for you, but no, what it is I need to focus on myself first, and then fight weeks when I'll do my media and I'll do all my interviews and I'll get all that kind of stuff, and let the UFC are phone me up and say, listen, you're doing this interview. So I don't do a lot on social media because I find it hard. I find it hard keeping up with posts. It's always the same post, me in front of some picture. I hate it, but I know people are so good at it, and that's how they can make their money. I'm not interested in making money. I would love to make money. Don't get me wrong, if somebody's want to give me money, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I'm not in this for making the money, but...
Are you doing it for the love of the sport?
But everything I do is... What was I doing before? What was my wage before? What was I doing Monday to Friday to get that wage? Compare that to what I'm doing now. Right, I'm working harder and my body's going through more, all this kind of stuff. But I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, and I get to be elite, and it doesn't matter about how much money I'm making. I get to be elite. I get to have a nice living for my kids. People, I hope they respect me. So for me, that's more than anything. So I've never ever had that in my head, like, I need more money. I need to chase money. I need to chase money. It's never been something that's drove me in any of my careers. It's been like, I need to make enough so that I can pay bills.
Yeah, and get by.
Aye. But quite a lot of people, like it blows my mind, people get a pay rise, and the first thing you do is you get a bigger car, you get another pay rise, you get a bigger house, you do this, you go a better holiday, bum, and you never ever get a better,
You've got nothing to actually show for it.
You're like, oh, I've got a car in the driveway that I drive to go to work because that's my job. Whereas I'd be like, I work 2 days a week. I work 2 days a week in a supermarket just to make enough money so that I can just no work the rest of my life. But people work to live rather than live to work. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So for me, it's about life, and I tell this to my kids, and as I say, they've got girls, and I want them to grow up and I want them to work hard at everything they do, because you're not going to get anywhere in life just by no working. I want them to appreciate how hard it is to work, but what I also want them to do is live.
Yeah.
I don't want them to be like, I'm 21, I've got a BMW in the driveway, and I can't go out at the weekend because I've got no money. I'm still staying with my parents because I've got no money. But I've got a belter, a watch, and I've got a nice big car.
It's that social media pressure.
Aye, everybody's like, and it's fine for me because I grew up at a different age. I'm like 34, man, so I'm like, I was growing up and we were like, we didn't have social media, didn't have all this kind of stuff, so I know it's easy for me to look down on you shouldn't be doing that, but I totally understand why people are like that.
It's kind of like, a lot of it is subconsciously built in as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like I said, it's the whole generation. Like, I was lucky, I think I was just the last peak of the generation. Like, the first phone I had was like 13, it was like a flip phone.
Was it?
And the first iPhone I had was on like 16, which nowadays, that's fucking like...
Kids want an iPhone.
Yeah.
Kids want to walk about with £500 to £600 worth in their hand and no appreciate it. Like, I remember as a kid, man, see if I'd got anything that expensive, it blows my mind. For me, growing up, and I've got an issue with that now, my whole issue is what I spend my money on is trainers. I've got
You've got some fresh trainers, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I did see them.
I'm
wearing my new Dunks as well.
Yeah, they're nice. What are they? Mine's are these are called my beaters. These are the ones that I wear, like, they're so
Oh, they are
So they're the Jordan Parises.
What size are you?
An 11.
11 or
You're,
12.
you're like, yeah, I'm going to.
It's hard to get shoes our size.
Aye.
Nice shoes.
So I use a mob called Kersh. They've got a few stores, one in Glasgow, one in Liverpool. They just opened up, and one in London. So I use them, and the guy will hit me up. He's my sister's partner, so he'll hit me up, and he's like, "These just come in, size 11." I'll be like, yeah. Aye, I'll take them. I'll take them. So he's like, he's a good guy, but also he's a bad guy because he it's like
he knows what he's doing.
Aye, he's feeding me. He's like, aye, what about these? But like, so for me, growing up, it was like, I remember being in school and I didn't have the best trainers, but I didn't have the worst trainers. There was kids who like had, we would call them Sanny Beatbops. Like they were done. The shoes were.
Yeah.
So I didn't have bad shoes, but I didn't have great shoes. And I always remember like wanting nicest shoes. That's what I wanted. It was trainers. It was to be. For me, that was like where I put a lot of. You got it?
Yeah.
That's where I put a lot of, like, I was like, that's what I want. I want trainers, because as a kid, that was like the ultimate thing you could have. That, maybe a couple of pairs of trackies and you'd be set. But trainers, man, I'd never ever wanted dirty trainers. So as now I've got like some disposable income, that's the kind of stuff I spend money on. I'm not talking like astronomical money where it's like, I see people jumping about like Alexander McQueen's that are like a couple of £100,
nice
and they're not, or like Balenciagas, and they look like some kids drew them with a crayon. Like, what the hell? Why are you wearing them? For me, I like plain white trainers, and
they have so far.
They have.
You can style it with so many different.
I know.
Things
like I've seen quite a lot of they were like suits and trainers. Like the UFC guys are rocking that kind of look now, and I'm like, that's cool. So for me,
that was one of those guys as well.
Aye, like that's what I'm talking about. A pair of nice trainers. And you can dress it up with anything. You might put on some nice chinos, you might put on a nice pair of jeans, you might put on a pair of shorts, and you can rock that. So for me, it's Dunks and Jordans, that's what I'm like.
These are my first pair of Dunks, to be fair. They're the reverse Pandas.
Yeah,
so
man.
Pandas came out, and I was speaking, I got these in JD for £100. And
then now?
Yeah, well, no, apparently the reason why, because I think I got them like 5 days after the release, and they were like, oh, well, no one's really asked about the resale value of them, so they've not really been.
I know.
Sold.
So quite a lot of when it comes to trainers is they give them to so many stores. So I've been into like, I remember I paid for like, I maybe spent like I'll say £200 for a pair of 75-year anniversary Jordans, 75-year anniversary NBA Jordans, right? And I was like, I love these, man. I don't wear them because the vast majority of my trainers, I've got my beaters. I'll bring out a few pairs that I'll wear every once in a while, but the vast majority of my trainers are up my loft. In boxes. I tried to hide them from my partner and it didn't work. She was like, Paul, I can clearly see there's a big fucking mash of trainers over here. So anyway, I got these, and then, as you said, went into JD Sports, and there they were for like retail price, and I was like, should just buy them as well and have two pairs. But Jordans, they're my guys, because like, as I said, as a kid, they were the guys. Nobody had a lot of Jordans. Air Max were like cool as when I was growing up. Like they were everybody had a pair of Air Max. I never had a pair of Air Max. Now as an adult, I can buy them, but I want the ones better. So it was the Jordans. So I got a pair of custom Jordans made. So with the like reverse tech, so it looks like the Travis Scott ones. I brought down my 7s, like OG 7s, like they're like just a wee tiny bit of purple. So that kind of stuff, I can understand why people spend money on like what they like.
Dana's got a nice fresh collection of Jordans
Did you see the ones he wore the last time? He had a custom made pair with the backwards tech. They were green, they were absolutely. And I remember taking a picture of them. I got the phone and I was zooming in and I was sending it to the guy at Kersh, and I was like, what trainers are these? And then he's like, so he went away on and looked, and he was like, either custom made, there or there, and that's what it was. So they weren't that expensive for custom made trainers when you compare them to a price of like Travis Scott's, which are like up at like £2,000 for a pair of high tops, or 15 for the lows. They're a lot cheaper than that.
You know your stuff about your trainers.
Aye, so like you can go and get like a custom pair made of trainers that look really, really nice, and they're only to you. So it's not something I do all the time, but I was like, I'm getting a nice pair of trainers after that last show. I was like, I want something to remember, and the same again, just wear them every once in a while.
I was there for your last fight. I was the first ever UFC event I've ever been to, and fucking hell, the place erupted when you pulled off that, mate. Like,
I know, because that's the thing about being a Paul Craig fan. The highs are high and the lows are low, and in between is great because you're like, whoa, well, you can never count him out. There's a good chance he's getting knocked out here. But there's an even better chance that he's going to get a submission.
Well, I mean, your jiu-jitsu is probably, well, I mean, not probably, definitely up there with the best in the entire sport, mate.
So that's one of these things, because I'm Scottish, like, we are not renowned for a lot of sporting achievements in their life, in our country. And it's even like, you think about the UK as a, like, in the world of sport, we're not the best at football. Well, maybe England absolutely smashes it. Scotland are like, Scotland are shite, right? The same with rugby, we're like there or thereabouts. Same with athletics, we're there or thereabouts. All the sports were there or thereabouts, but we're not.
Sorry to interrupt you, is the microphone still alright? Yeah, sweet, sorry.
Is it dropped? No, so it's like, to be a Scottish guy smashing Brazilians at Jiu-Jitsu, their own sport, it's wild to think. But well, I started reading the, not Hensel Gracie, Hickson Gracie book, and that's like, so their ancestry comes from Scotland, so they're Scottish. So their dad's, so the name Gracie is Scottish, and they came from like a Scottish fighting clan.
That is mental, what the fuck, you learned something new.
I didn't know that, was listening to this and thinking, fucking, it's in my blood. It's no Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it's Scottish Jiu-Jitsu, so like, I found that kind of cool, like, that's in our lineage. They come from Scotland, they then moved to Brazil, stayed there. I think their father, or their great-grandfather was part of like the Navy and was just, went to Brazil and was like, kind of like a woman here, I'm going to stay. And then from that, that's like, I think that's kind of cool, which leads into like my fight lore as well, innit? Like that's my lineage of Jiu-Jitsu. I've got my head coach, his head coach who is Brazilian, which is pretty cool, man. So that kind of stuff like gets me buzzing. Do
you consciously think about putting Scotland on your shoulders and putting them on the map, or is it something you try to not think about?
No, I think you need to have a wee bit of love for your country. Like the Liverpool guys are the best at it. They want everybody to know they're from Liverpool. Aye, and it's like that's part of their identity. Scotland's part of my identity. Like I love the place. If more people show the place that I love, respect, and I'm down with that. Growing up, I grew up in like a council estate. Didn't have a lot of money. Same again. Wasn't in the dirt poor end and wasn't in the posh end. Right. We were just kind of middle of the road. Yeah. Working class family. My dad worked every day of his life. But I grew up appreciating like Scotland so much, man. I never ever went on a holiday until I was an adult. Like we used to go to the like seaside. That was our holiday, man. And now I see kids that are like, oh, we only go to like Spain, and I would never go to like. There was a place up in Edinburgh called Burnt Island, right? That's what it was like. Growing up, we've got to be a fair Monday, and it'd be like markets, and it'd be like shows, all this kind of stuff. It was part of.
But they're lasting memories.
Exactly, and it was about, I had like two siblings, I had a younger sister now, but as we were growing up, there was 3 years, my older brother used to just beat us up all the time, and my sister who, it was a case of, if me and my brother don't gang up and beat her up, then my brother's going to beat me up, so let's just go beat her up. So we grew up in this very close age, 2 years all between us, and that's like, as you're saying about memories, part of growing up there was all these memories, going to this place. Like, I knew we never had a lot of money, but you make life of what it is. Sure. So I love Scotland. I love the fact you can go 30 minutes in any direction and you're in the middle of nowhere.
It's beautiful.
There's like waterfalls, trees, forests, you name it, mountains. Like so, I love everything about Scotland, and I love representing it, and that's why I do the face paint and then let everybody know, because some of the Americans love the Scottish. Nobody can understand me, but like I'm talking to the UFC staff and they're like,
everyone just thinks
Pardon? I don't understand you. So this is my gripe with Braveheart. Like I love the fact that they're telling the story. The story's wrong. It doesn't even happen like that. So the story is set on a bridge. It's the Bridge of Allen. This is where the battle is won, right outside the Stirling Castle. Whereas they have it in like in a field and it's just loads of guys running at each other, just battling. We're outnumbered. Like it's always the Scottish way. We've never ever got enough people to win the battle. But what we are is we're sneaky bastards, right?
Just a pure fucking heart.
What we done was we let half them cross over and then dismantled the bridge, slaughtered them and then slaughtered everybody in the water and then chased them all back away down to like the North Lanarkshire and then destroyed them all down there. Just sneaky, there's rules to war engagement where it's like, right, let us get across and then we'll have a proper battle. Whereas they're like, yep, we'll let you get across. And then all of a sudden they just start slaughtering them. So, but that's my issue with that film.
What do you think has been like the factors as to why Scottish MMA hasn't quite reached the heights?
For a long time it was all everybody's warring against each other. So all these local gyms are all trying to beat each other and be the best gym in Scotland. my gym's better than yours because my jiu-jitsu's better than yours, my gym's better than yours because we've got 2 UFC fighters, my gym's better than yours because we've got all these wins. It shouldn't be about that. When it comes to like, and even like in the whole of the UK, as an amateur, you should be taking hard fights, taking losses, so that when you become a pro, that you're used to this.
That's exactly what I spoke to Mark Casey yesterday. He said the exact same, because we were saying that MMA isn't quite the same as boxing. The whole boxing culture is fucking tons of amateur fights, and MMA is kind of like just a rush to get pro.
Yeah, as it's like, oh, I've got 6 wins and now I need to go pro. No. What you should be doing is, and that's why like the English MMA have started up their own organisation. I think like Mark Goddard's one of the heads at it. There's loads of people involved in that. Scotland are still kind of dragging their heels and being like, no, we don't, because everybody's still warned. Everybody wants their cake and everybody wants to be the head of the guy that gets the first slice of cake. No, I want the best for all his guys, and I totally understand that. But sometimes you need to, like, for the purposes of the sport, just fucking all work together, man, and get everybody like working together, having the best guys sparring together, all working for the same good. Like if you think about this camp and like us all going down to Newcastle, so it's me, Phil De Vries, Mickey Parkin, Tom Aspinall, all in the same room, all working, because we're all working towards the same goal. That's what I feel like amateur MMA should be about. You've got a guy who needs sparring, like let's go and I'll help him. Because it happens in boxing sometimes. Like guys will come in and they'll help each other and they'll go to different gyms. Whereas for MMA it's like, no, you're not part of your gym, you can't be this. If you want to join our gym, then you can be part of this. I think we're still in the Stone Age in Scotland. We just lost Calderwood. She's just been taken off the rank in the UFC, so that means I'm one lonely Scottish guy in the roster of the UFC.
I bet it's like a proud feeling though. Obviously you want to have like more.
So I always wanted to be like, by the time I started MMA, I was like, I'm going to be the first Scottish person in the UFC. Didn't work that way because I think it was Jojo. No, it wasn't. It was the Hammer.
I forget his name.
Oh. Anyway.
Yeah.
He was the first, and then Jojo came, and then Stevie Ray came, and then I came, and I was like, I'm not even there in the top 3, man. And then Danny Henry came, and then that's all there's been. There's been nobody else that came. There's been people going to other organisations like Bellator, like Stevie Ray, giving up his contract there and then going to PFL. So there's guys representing us, but there's not enough of us. There's a lot of good talent in Scotland, but they're all just no working together for the greater good.
There's one person that I know, I'll give a shout out, Chris Duncan, I don't know if you know him.
Oh, how can I even forget about Chris Duncan, man? Chris Duncan's, he's the toughest guy. He's like, see when I see he's in the mat, I'm like, oh man, this is going to be a tough day. Because Chris Duncan, he is a beast, man. Aye. And anywhere he goes, everybody says the exact same thing.
And he's a beast. Fucking the kindest guy going.
I know,
as well,
he is. He's good. I love getting rounds in with him because he is so tough. I love grappling with him, and I love seeing, like, because I've seen him when he was an amateur, and he was so raw, and everybody's talking about him, and everybody's bigging him up. And I like the fact that he was with his gym, it was MXP. But I like the fact that he didn't go, because there's only like a few big gyms in Scotland. There's like, you've got higher level, you've got the Grip House, you've got the Scottish Hit Squad, you've got like Aberdeen Combat, and you've got like maybe like Dundee Shooters, these kind of guys. So there's all these kind of gyms about Scotland.
None of them mix.
None of them mix. Well, a few of them have like, the wee kind of, like, well, we're pals and we'll do this. So Duncan's like, nah, I'm just going to do my own thing. I'm just going to go here, do a wee bit. You don't like it, then I'll come to your gym. And then he just kind of potters about and trains with everybody. And that's how his developments work so well for him. It works for him, and I think it'll work for everybody if we just have some sort of something going on. And no being like, I can't fight him because I might fight him in my amateur career.
Do you think it's possible to have a successful career only being at one gym?
You can, but it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough because you'll never. Because what happens in your gym, you get used to sparring with the same guys. So for me, I'll go, like, let's go, and I know exactly what he's going to do. I know his game plan. He knows my game plan, and it's who's better at applying their game plan. So I think you need to go, and I think you need to feel sometimes the burn of being in other gyms. When I first started like becoming a pro, I was going to boxing gyms and I was sparring with pro boxers. I was taking second prizes in there. I was going to jiu-jitsu gyms and training with just raw jiu-jitsu guys and not being able to use MMA, or like seeing somebody's not getting your position, just nailing them until they give you the position. So I learned each individual craft, and I think that's one of the best ways of doing it as well. Like going to a jiu-jitsu guy and having a guy at 100 kilograms trying to smash you, wrestling with wrestlers who are, doesn't matter if they're 100 kilograms or 60 kilograms, they're absolute beasts. So there's all these gyms I went to kind of like, cool, this is what I need to do, this is what I need to do. And then it's up to me as an athlete, an MMA athlete, to bring it all together and see what works. Right, do I think like a fireman's pickup is the best takedown? I definitely don't. I love doing it because it looks cool when you slide in, slam it with the mat. In wrestling it's fine, but in our game, if somebody does that, then there's a chance they'll catch you, wrap up a guillotine, and then you're fighting another totally different submission. Do I think the way a boxer stands works for MMA? No, because he'll chew up that front leg, and the next thing you're going to be limping and they're going to nail you. So, and do I think Muay Thai's the best way when you're bouncing that foot and like, hey, no. You need to kind of like pick
it's and choose. It's like a blend of all of them together,
you need to, like, the best way is that we take every sport and bastardise them into one sport. It's like, and you can say it's MMA, but it's not a martial arts. Like, I got a book and started reading about karate, and just looking at all their techniques and reading about how they fling their kicks, how they fling their punches. That works. I'm going to bring it in. Now, chop somebody in the neck like this, isn't he going to work? Or blocking like this isn't going to work, but their kicks are lethal. And it's about taking what works
out of each style.
Each style and making it work for you. Because you could be like, for instance, my coach was a guy who's like 5 foot. He claims he's 5'4", but he's like 5'2", on the cusp of being a small person. No, I'm saying there's not being a small person, but he's very, very small. And he's shown me techniques, and he's like, this is how you do it. I'm like, no, that doesn't work for me. Like, I've got long limbs, I've got long levers, it's very, very hard for me to get the same kind of pressure as you. So you need to, as a coach, what you need to do is you need to change how you're teaching, because it's not working for everybody. So you need to...
It's that hard balance, isn't it? Because like with classes and stuff, obviously you've got to kind of generalise a little bit, but then I guess that's where coaches then personalise the athletes a little bit more when they do one-on-one sessions and stuff.
And I think, and hard. Like, but to be so blatant and be like, no, this is to be done. And then we had so many conversations about this, and I was like, that doesn't work. You create so much upward pressure against the cage wall because you're small, whereas my levers and limbs don't allow me to do that, so I can't get under them. So we need to have a different... And he's like, no, you're just not doing it right. Well, am I not doing it right, or is it maybe you're just coaching's wrong? So you need to kind of find this balance. I think that's why it's good to go and see loads of different coaches and listen to absolutely everybody in any kind of sport. If there's like, I've been taking this, I've been going to like the school run, and I've got a guy who tells me different techniques. Like at the school gate, one of the dads of the other kids that go to the school, but I listen, because there might just be something that he's got. Like the vast majority might be shit, but I think you need to give everybody their space and allow them to be like, right, that actually works, that'll work, I'm going to implement this and see if it works. And I think that's how you need to be with this sport, and that's what I'm meaning, like for Scotland to develop, that's how the whole country needs to be.
If we talk UFC London, obviously your opponent, have you ever seen anything that you've not seen before? You've been in the UFC for a while now, and you've obviously been a few different styles.
He's good. He's very good at what he does. You can't take that away from him. He joined the sport and rose very quickly through the rankings because he's got incredible power. I believe his power's dissipated slightly. Doesn't mean it's not there. I believe he's working more technical aspects of like
blasting the
rather than just firing these shots. Now he's very good at it. But I think what you've seen recently is people getting an advantage over him because they know what's coming. And if you're not developing in this sport, bring it back to that point of reading everything, looking at everything, allowing everybody to add their own, like maybe try this, maybe try that. I think you need to have that in this sport. Now he's very good at defending double legs. Like I'm expecting him to defend these double legs like his life depends on it, because it pretty much does. Because if he goes to the ground, then I believe I've got the upper hand. Has he developed in the same way I develop? I don't think so. I don't think so. If he does, and he's going to show me something totally new, then I'll be impressed. But I don't see him developing the same way I'm developing, and I believe it's just going to be my night. Like, I think you need to have that. It's not being cocky. It's not being cocky or confident. It's just about being like, right, I know what I need to do, and I know how much I can give to get what I need.
You were scheduled to fight Gustafsson on the last card. He's obviously scheduled to fight Krylov this time around. Is that a fight that still interests you? Obviously, with the rankings, if things go well your way, you're obviously going to be looking at something probably higher on the ladder than Gustafsson. But being scheduled against someone like him, the legend that he's got, is that a fight that would still interest you?
100%. Gus is still the guy. He's only like 34.
He's 34, and the last two wins were against the last two light heavyweight champions.
Yep. So for me, he's still the guy. He's just been chilling at the side. He's seen John Jones left, Daniel Cormier left, and went, easy work, I'm going to come. So yep, it's a fight that definitely interests me. I seen him recently, like downstairs earlier on. He's looking in incredible condition. It's definitely a fight that interests me. I've heard rumours of Sweden. Have you heard these rumours?
I've not heard those rumours. The first for me and Paul's pod.
Right. I done this before with like I was like, they're coming back, and everybody's like, where are you getting this information? I was like, I just know. So anyway, the rumours is Sweden, it's November.
That'd be cool. 5
rounds. I've not had a 5-round fight yet. Gus has had loads of them. So this could be the next, like, I'm just doing UFC's job, like, win this fight, the way it goes, and then move on to getting Gus.
For you, is legacy more important than fighting up the rankings?
Yeah, 100%. Having an amazing fight or having moments, just moments, that's all I need is moments in this sport. A couple of moments that give me some sort of recognition when I leave this sport. When I walk away and I'm done with this sport and I'm too old and the wheels are falling off it, and I can go on YouTube and be like,
this is what I did.
Triangle victory over Ankalaev, triangle victory over Krylov, triangle victory over Ozdemir. Like these are things, these moments are going to cement my legacy, and that's all I want. As I say to you, this is not about money for me. This is about experiences, being part of the UFC game, massive experience. Like seeing myself as a computer character. I know, playing. Like I didn't play many. Like I used to play Tekken back in the day, and like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. I'm in these games, man. People are going to Bearjew. People are like, I'm going to go to Bearjew, and I'm either going to use them to knock them out, or I'm either going to use them to sub people. Like I love the fact that people are getting to be a Bearjew fan and enjoy me. Because the amount of people are messaging me like, why are you not in the game? Why are you not in the game? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm asking myself the same question. I'm messaging the UFC saying, why are you putting a guy that's had one fight in the UFC while I'm sitting here sidelined? Like I think this might be like, I think it might be about 12 fights I've had in the UFC. Like I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's something like that. Maybe even 10.
Do you feel like you got a bit of a chip on your shoulder?
No, I don't like to be like, oh, this is I've been hard done to, because I've not. Like as I said to you before, what were you doing before this, Paul? So like, how can you be like, oh, I'm better than this, I need more. Get paid what you're worth, fight what you're worth, and earn what you're worth. So when I earn something, I'm like, yeah, fuck, like I got in the game. I've got a sports card. Like I've got a card, like a sports card, and it's like 9.5 rated card, right? It's like one of these like sports collectible cards in a wee plastic case.
Is it the Panini ones?
Yeah. I think it's amazing. Like it's a picture of me, and it just says a wee spiel in the back, and I'm like, as a kid growing up, we used to swap stickers. Oh, you got a shiny, I'll swap you this. So for me, that kind of stuff means more to me than, like, this might sound a bit mental, but that means more to me than getting a belt, because a champion.
It's lasting though, I feel, because there are champions come and go.
Come and go, man, and you're like, who was the champion like 10 years ago, or who was the champion 5 years ago in the light heavyweight division? You're like, was it John Jones? Could it have been like, you don't actually know. Whereas like, can you remember Paul Craig submitting Ankalaev in the last minute? I can remember that. No champion, none of the two are champions, but these kind of things mean more to me than anything I'm ever going to experience for the UFC.
How does it end on Saturday?
So this is what I've been predicting. I would take any sort of victory, because a win against a high level opponent like Ozdemir is bread and butter. That's what I want, because if I can't beat him, then I can't be in the top 10. If I can't be in the top 10, then I can't get anywhere close to the title. And I know I say the title's not as important, but
obviously in the back of your head.
Like that's still my goal. My goal is to get here. So if I can't beat him, it's not going to happen. And if I can't beat him in a pretty slick fashion, then I'm not in the mix. I'm not able to do what I said I was able to do. Oh, I'll be able to sub this, and I'll be able to do this, and I'll be able to. So for me, a victory is first and foremost. Submission is what I'm looking for. The submission I want is a triangle, because this is the third time fighting in this arena. Third time in the O2. First 2 times are triangles. Could it be the hat trick? Could it be the hat trick?
Could be the hat trick.
That's what I want. I know.
I would put my money on us.
And then the triangle would then take me in the top of being like the most triangles. So these are all the kind of things.
So
as I'm saying,
it's going to be Paul T. City Craig.
These are all the things I want. They're all the things I want. As I said, money, fame, all that kind of stuff. I just want to be like, you know what, you've got the most submissions. You've got the most triangle submissions in light heavyweight history. You've got 3 submission victories in London. You've got 3 triangles in London. All that kind of stuff. Like, I know it sounds silly, but that's the kind of stuff.
I don't think it sounds.
That's the kind of stuff that gets me excited for this sport, and that's why I wake up every morning. I think that's what makes me different from most fighters, the fact that I wake up on Monday morning happy. I'm like, yeah, we get to do this again. Let's see if I can beat myself. Let's see, what was I running yesterday? Right, I'm going to beat that. And that's everything I kind of do. I get super focused on stuff, it's probably a good side of autism where I'm like, I get hyper focused on certain individual things. Be like, I need to do this, and this. And it's like the Bruce Lee quote, it's like, don't fear the man that does 1,000 kicks once, fear the man that does 1 kick 1,000 times. Find one thing and just be good at it, and I think that's what I'm doing in this sport.